Resilience plus Rise, the podcast, where resilience is not just a concept, but a lived experience. I am your host, Thomas Scaria, a resilience coach, an ultramarathoner, and a relentless believer in the human spirit's ability to rise. This podcast is a companion to my book, Resilience plus Rise 26.2 Transformative Miles to Unleash Your Marathon of Life Mindset. Each episode is a raw, unfiltered dive into the stories of those who have faced life's hardest battles and emerged stronger. Today, I'm honored to have a model and actor, Tammy Moon. She's also a podcast host of What Could Possibly Go Wrong, the show that life, whether it's of celebrities or anybody else, has curveballs. When things go sideways, what happens? When the most beautiful laid plans are derailed, as they say, man plans, God laughs. Is there something to talk about? So, Tammy, welcome to Resilience plus Rise, the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be here with you today.
Fantastic. So, Tammy, let's jump in. Tell me a little more about that. You have been a model, you have been an actor, and now you're a podcast host. Uh, what's happening?
You know, a major life pivot. I
Okay.
spent 38 years in corporate America
Okay.
as a private banker,
Mhm,
working with billionaires
mhm.
and advising them on their financial life. And being exposed to these amazing stories and these amazing people was just a wonderful career for 38 years.
Okay.
And then one day I got a call that no parent ever wants to get. I got a call about 9 o'clock p.m. on July 3rd, 2024, from a medical examiner telling me that my only child, my son Tommy, and I love your name, Thomas, because I have my son, my only child was Thomas, that my only child had been killed in a motorcycle accident. And that's not a call any parent ever wants to receive. And in that moment, everything changes. Everything changes. You have your life before the loss, the life after the loss, and nothing's the same. Nothing will ever be the same. And I went through all of the things that you go through, the shock, the denial, the tears, the just the unbearable pain. And there's nothing you can do to make any of that stop. It's visceral, it's there. You just have to feel it and go through it. And it has been a painful experience, but what has helped me grow through it, and I mean, you're never done. You're never done. You walk with the grief every day. The grief sits with you kind of on your shoulder. Every day it's with you. And you kind of have to learn to embrace it as part of your life because it's also the memory. That grief is my son, right? So I hold on tight to it. I don't want to let it go because that's my boy. And if you let it go, then, well, I just can't accept that he's gone. He's still with me, and he's with me in that grief that I carry with me. And it was through this last 16 months now, the first year for sure, I didn't get out of bed. I was in bed 22, 23 hours a day. That was the only thing that I could kind of bring myself. That was just how I survived it. And after the call, I went on leave of absence for obvious reasons. And a few months later, I thought, no, I need to get back to work. Bank is waiting. maybe routine will be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back. And for the first couple weeks, seeing people was really good for me. Seeing my friends from work. And then a month into it, I realized this is, I'm not ready. But I kept trudging through it because I felt I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, most people have gone through a loss. You have to keep living. You got to keep doing the things. And it took until the middle of January, and I worked from home, and I walked out of my office, and my husband and my very dear friend Beth were sitting there. And I walked out and I sat down just exhausted. And they said, okay, that's it. You're done. You're done. We're not going to watch this anymore. We're not going to see what this is doing to you. This isn't good for you. This isn't healthy for you. This is not helping you heal. And you're done. So retire, go back on leave. But we can't watch this continue to happen. And so I got up and I went in and I called my boss and I said, I'm not ready to be back. I need to take more time. And I did. And over these months, I have tried all of the things that were logical to me to help process.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been known to be a patient person, as my dear friends and certainly my wonderful husband can attest. And as he says, Tammy, you like things to happen faster than they normally do. And that's his nice way of saying I'm impatient. And so it's something I've had to kind of learn to live with now is there's just some things you can't rush. But I tried everything. I did Reiki. I did acupuncture. I met with therapists and mediums and psychiatrists. I did sound bowls. I went to, grief support groups and a grief coach and all of these things, just hoping if I do the right things, I'll start to feel better. And you realize it's just not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on and doing all of these things, I was really blessed to be a part of a bereaved mother's retreat. And it was a group of 6 women who had lost their child. And we spent the weekend together, and it was so therapeutic and it was so helpful. And then I followed that up the next week by signing a modeling contract. And what an interesting switch.
Pivot, yeah, of course.
Like this drastic switch. And Beth, one of my besties, she was really pushing me to do this. And my son, before he had died, had been pushing me to do it. And he goes, Mom, you're brave. I want you to do this. And so I finally okay, all right. I need purpose. When I lose my only child, like this mom role, I don't have this mom role. Like, who am I? And now I'm not in my career of 38 years. Who am I? What's my purpose? What do I do when I get up every day? I have nothing to think about except loss and pain and grief. And I needed some purpose. And I was offered a contract. And I thought, wow, they must think there's something in me that I can do this. And it could not be more different than corporate America.
Hmm.
And I have, so I've been getting into modeling and acting. And my dear friend and I started a podcast together. And it is 180-degree difference than corporate America. And I will tell you, it has given me such a wonderful new energy.
That's obvious. When I'm talking to you, that is so obvious.
It's because it's fun. And it is, it just kind of takes a different part of me. It's the creative. It's not so confined to what corporate America requires. And I had a great career, but this has just been so uplifting for me. And all new. I like learning 3 new jobs at the same time that are completely different than anything I've ever done. And I'm loving it because it is fulfilling and it gives me focus and purpose. And I think sometimes when we go through really big things in our life, it forces us to take a step back and say, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? What would my Tommy want me to be doing? What would make Tommy proud? What is fulfilling and is filling a piece of me that I desperately needed? And it's been an amazing journey, and sharing that with my dear friend Beth McDonough. We share our podcast together. What could possibly go wrong? And this is kind of a lot of the stuff that we talk about, because things go wrong in our lives every day, and it's how we deal with them. And so I think it just so resonates with your resilience focus.
Thank
It's
you.
how do you get up every day when the world falls apart? You still have to get up. And it's how do you approach it? How do you come into this every day and not let it destroy you? Because sometimes that's destroying that's not hard. You allow yourself to fall and stay down. It's getting back up. It's coming back up. It's rising through it that I think takes a lot of work, a lot of fortitude, a lot of tenacity, a lot of bravery. And boy, I want my son to know that his mom is brave
Yeah.
and she's tenacious, and she's going to get up every day, and she's going to find purpose, and she is going to live the rest of my life with both hands.
There have been times wherein I am lost of questions or loss of words on what to say. But as I just mentioned to Beth also, is that out of our deepest of wounds or deepest of pains, taking a phrase from Rumi, comes our deepest of purpose or shines the brightest of light. From our deepest of wound shines the brightest of light. Because things were going on well, but life jerked you. You just said you took like when it happened, you took a step back. I would beg to differ. I believe that you would have taken a lot of steps back. First and foremost, getting out from that denial phase, getting out from that grief phase, getting out from the phrase of why me? We're getting out specifically from, because if things were going on well in the corporate industry, 38 years, things have been going on well. If it was not going on well, you wouldn't be over there in the first place. Yes,
I'd still be sitting at that desk.
yes,
I would still be sitting there right this minute. I would not be having this conversation with you, Thomas. I'd be sitting at my desk talking to, looking at
billionaires.
financial analysis and not
Yeah.
having this amazing
So
conversation.
here, what happened was, and especially again, there we humans have been so tuned to using the mentality of drama, trauma, victim, martyr. And we know there are a lot of people in my coaching, in my podcast, I do come across time and again people who are saying, why me? What has happened? But what I've heard in you, Tammy, is that you have changed the entire narrative. It happened. So the question which comes up is that you went through all this sound therapy and Reiki and meeting with the bereaved mothers, etc. But when you look back, what were around three or four things that stand out that made you to become more resilient, made you to accept and understand that yes, that was a beautiful journey with Thomas, and now it's time for me to move on to another phase. What were those elements that made you, that built up the fortitude?
My niece always called me Tenacious Tammy.
Okay.
And when I'm onto something, I do it with gusto. I don't do it halfway. I go all in. And I think that is so innate in me. And as with any part of my life, I had been married previously, and I lost my husband to cancer. So I've gone through losing a spouse, losing my son. I you got to get up. You got to get up, and you take the time you need to heal as much as you can. And I will never get over this. I mean, it's always just right into the surface. I can feel it well enough. It's always right into the surface. So it's, how do I get up every day? And so I just brute force, Thomas. I think it's just brute force. I have to do it. Get up and go do it. And we only get one shot at this life. Make it what you can. And I know my son, in his short 33 years of life, he lived a lifetime in his 33 years. He lived a lifetime, and he did it. He did it with such tenacity and with such energy that his life was cut short.
I'm sorry.
But he did it with such power while he was on this earth. And I'm not going to let him down. I'm not going to
You want to have water or something?
I'm okay. I just don't want to let him down. I want to be the mom that he knew me to be. When things go tough, when things go wrong, mom is going to be there. And he knew no matter what happened in his life, if I call mom, she is going to be there. She's always going to be there. She's my rock. And 3 days before I lost him, he actually told me that. He goes, Mom, you've always been there. You've always been my rock. And hearing that days before I lost him was just such a gift. I knew what my son felt about me. I knew that he knew how much I loved him and how important he was and how I would do anything for my boy. And so I think part of it is I just can't let my kid down. And part of it is just, I'm just stubborn. I just think I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life, however long that is, not making the most of it, because I'm doing a disservice to my own life, to my son's memory. And I have people that I love. I have an amazing husband who I adore with all of my might. I have amazing friends and family. They want me back.
Of course.
So I need to be back, but I have to make time for my grief. And I do.
Understandable.
And you have to. Yeah, you have to make time for it. But I also need to make time to live. And that's why I'm doing this. That's our podcast is called What Could Possibly Go Wrong? And the concept behind it, I think you're going to like this, Thomas, is sometimes things can go wrong and it creates a really funny story. And you laugh about it for years. And Lord knows, don't we all have those stories?
Yes.
And then sometimes something can go wrong and it doesn't go where you think it's going to go. And so you have to pivot to something that usually turns out even better. And then sometimes things can go wrong and they are just something bad happens. And that's when we get our biggest life lessons.
True.
And so things going wrong isn't necessarily a bad thing. They just didn't go as planned. And we
True.
get something from every one of those situations.
As I can empathize, Tammy, what you mentioned, because it was a few years back wherein I lost a couple of things which were close to me on a singular day. And I can feel a lot of times when I mentioned about the drama and the trauma or the victim and the martyr, that we have always got a choice. But what I have heard you and what I also strongly believe is that the moment we change our narrative about why life is happening to me or why is life happening for me, that's when we grow. I would use the same paraphrase what I mentioned about with Beth also, is that you went through the pain, you're still having that, you're still carrying it, but also what you have, by God's grace or the universe's grace, however we put it, is you have become an epitome, you have become a beacon for somebody else who is hurting. You are becoming somebody that people will turn. It is not just about Thomas's soul looking back and being proud, you will have a sense of that purpose which is growing up, which is building up within you. And where, because when you're talking about it, there is so much of, okay, tenacious, that's what you are. But then there is so much of, yes, this is what is building me up. Goes back from our deepest of wounds, shines the brightest of light.
I love that phrase. It's beautiful.
And so now you have started with what could possibly go wrong. Tell me more about it and what else have you been doing currently in the next few year is coming to an end. The new year begins. What is there in your on your plate?
We are having the time of our life.
Beautiful.
And while carrying, the tough stuff. We are just we're meeting so many amazing people. And I think the more people we meet, we realize how many amazing stories are out there.
Exactly.
And that
Sorry, but that's the way reason I picked up my thing of resilience plus rise, because when I wrote the book and I realized, okay, let me talk to people who are resilient, and lo behold, there have been amazing humans who I've had the opportunity to bask in their sunshine, like you and Beth, that you have allowed me to be a part of your journey. And I just can say thank you, thank you, thank you. Please continue. Sorry.
Thank you. We I'm just having so much fun too with doing some uh, modeling, even at my age. And I think I shared today's my birthday. And so even as I'm another year older, I think there's still a real place for women of my age to to shine.
Of course.
I I'm not gonna, go put on a moo and, cut my hair real short and do what people think when you get to a certain age. I am going to be myself.
Who
I'm
you
going to
are.
be who I am. I'm going to share my light as much as I can. And so with the modeling, it's just such a great way to, for a minute, you put on a different hat and you become a different person for a little while. Whatever the need is. So it's you kind of have to put this alter ego on, and it's
Mhm.
kind of liberating. It's fun to, for a minute, like, well, in this particular project that I'm working on, I'm somebody completely different, and embracing that and finding a character and a story to put out there. um it's it's just a blast, and it's hard work. It's
It
hard
is.
work.
It is hard work.
And it's study, it's practice every day. You have to practice every day. And I think so many times it's easy to just say, oh, I don't want to today. You have to practice. We don't get good at something just by wishing it.
Nah, no, not at all. Not at all.
And so
And
that's where I spend a lot of my time practicing, studying. We're spending a lot of time just really fine tuning our projects that we're working on. But I like to make time for my friends, and I like to make time for my family. And this time of year is a great time to really enjoy that. And I have family coming into town next week, and Beth and I and my husband are taking a trip to Mexico in a few weeks. And it's just so great to have things to look forward to where you're sharing it with the people that you love so much.
talking of sharing, and guys, who was listening to this, if there is a hurting within you, I will be putting out Tammy's contact information in the comments below. Do reach out. She has
Yes,
gone through pain. She has gone through grief. She knows or seen what sadness is all about. If you need another angel with a broken wing to hold you, so be it.
absolutely.
Tammy, just be mindful of the time. Is there something else that you would like to close our conversation with?
I really just, if there's anything I could tell anyone going through this, is give yourself grace, be kind to yourself, feel what you feel, and it's whatever that feeling is okay. Feel what you feel and take the time you need. You don't have to rush through this. And there's a whole lifetime to cry, but there's a whole lifetime to live.
It goes back to what I always say, is that life is not for existing, it's for living. And you mentioned that every day we wake up, think of it when we look into another narrative. How many people are not fortunate enough to wake up? Or again, sorry about that, but how many people's life gets cut short and you're awake, you're living. Even if what could possibly go wrong, what can you make right?
It's the right that comes out of the wrong.
Fantastic. So, Tammy, thank you so very much
Thank
for your
you.
space and time. It has been a beautiful conversation. And what could possibly go wrong? Which platforms do they come on?
It is on all platforms. YouTube at sign what could possibly go wrong 2025, and it's on Spotify, it's on all of the other, on Apple, it's on all of the sites.
Okay, guys, I'll be putting out the links down below in the comments, so there could be something which you may want, we can learn from and grow on. So here we are. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.